Good morning and welcome to a video that I can only foresee as being a bit all over the place. I'm getting ready to reopen my online store and I figured I'd take you along for a bit of behind the scenes, but mostly just shameless self-promotion. The link will be below if you're interested. So if we haven't met, hello, I'm Charlie, I'm 25, I'm from Scotland, who'd have guessed, and I sell roadkill on the internet. Roadkill is a bit of a coarse way of putting it. I sell sustainably sourced antlers and bones, primarily as byproducts from hunting and crofting, but there's a fair stack of roadkill in there too. However, alongside that, I sell artwork, various handmade items, and old things that I've salvaged, like hurricane lanterns, vintage saws, and 100-year-old bottles that I've dug out the ground. To be perfectly honest, it's a wee bit of a hillbilly boutique, but if you like the outdoors, natural history, or old rusty things, stick around, because you'll probably like my store. Now I've been closed for a good few months because it's just easier during the doe season. I work weird hours in the winter and catching the post office whilst it's open can be quite difficult. I'm hoping to stay open next winter though. I just need to look into organising a courier that can collect parcels from my house. So if there's any other online sellers watching this that have any recommendations, please comment them below. Anyway, whilst I've been closed, I've given my website a wee bit of a facelift and I've combined it with a blog where you can expect to see articles about hunting, foraging, fishing and gear reviews. If you like my Shooting Times articles, you'll probably like them too. But more about that later. Before I can actually make my website live again, I've got a few wee things I need to do. I need to collect more alder to finish dyeing some skulls, I need to package some things, I want to make some more prints of my salmon head lino cut if I have the time, and I have to photograph all my stock, which is by far the biggest job. But first things first, I need to go through all the pages of my website and proofread them for spelling mistakes or repetition, but I'm not going to bore you with that shite, so I'll catch you later on in the day when I do something a bit more interesting. You'll get by that. I hope you can hear me over the noise of my truck. She's a noisy beast, but she works, so I'm no complaining. I'm off to collect some alder cones, and hopefully I'll catch a sunset, because it's been a nice day for the first time in a long time. The sun is actually out. Oh, here comes a taxi now. It's alright. No worries. Anyway, I've just got Gin with me today, if you can see her bouncing back and forward there. She's coming into season and Buck is keen, so he's off to live with Rod during the day. And yeah, he's off to stay at Rod's during the day so he doesn't spend all his time in horny jail. Right, that's us at the Alder kind of bit now. It's just a wee kind of grove, wee valley, and it's full of it, but I have left it a bit late in the season to be picking these, so trying to find one that's still got it on it is not going to be ideal, but I can see a few. We'll have a wee route around on the ground as well and hopefully find some there, but right now I need to find somewhere I can park that's off the road and not in a passing place, because that's a dick move. Okay, so to be completely honest, I had reservations about sharing how to do this, because from what I've seen, it's not a majorly known practice within the niche. Obviously, I make money from selling the things I've dyed, and I wouldn't be a very good capitalist if I gave out all my trade secrets. But I ruminated on it for a bit, and we don't gatekeep knowledge, especially when it comes to learning how to work with the natural world. The process of alder dyeing isn't rocket science, and I'll talk you through it in a moment. But first, you're going to need to collect some alder cones. So the alder likes to have its roots wet. It fancies a riparian habitat, so you're most likely going to find it on the edge of burns, rivers and lochs. But it's also quite common in car parks, so don't despair if you live in a town. This tree produces both male and female flowers. The males take the form of catkins, which spend the summer growing upright and then hang down in the winter when it's cold, like most males. In a lot of foreign species of alder, the catkins are edible, and some sound like they're really good, like the red alder, but our ones, though edible, are pretty bitter, and I would not recommend it, honestly. The female flowers, of course, take the form of cones, and there's two different types of alder common here in the UK, the common and the grey. Our native alder, the common, has dark and fissured bark, whereas the grey alder has smooth, often speckled bark and was introduced from Europe around 200 years ago. But you can use the cones from either for dyeing, it makes no odds.
Even still, I remember knowing she could feel it too. Was a mutual arrangement, we both knew what to do. She had a star on her forehead that was easy to find. When I let down her bridle, I saw into her hazel eyes. We had a deep understanding, never had to use a bit. Was a mutual arrangement and an honest respect. But can she walk in the fire? Can she run in the rain? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'll go and jump the fence. Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been? Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been?
So now that I've got my alder cones, I'm going to leave them to soak overnight, and this is just going to allow them to swell up, soften up, and let the tannins leach into the water. Tomorrow we'll boil them and that'll really get the dye going, but for now I'm just trimming off all the sticks and bits of grass that I've managed to get in there. It doesn't really matter if you get a few stems in here and there, but it's just for volume's sake. I mean, that entire bucket's got to fit in that entire pan, and now I'm rambling, so we'll carry on. I did a piss poor job of filming the rest of this, but basically I boiled that batch of cones 3 times over. And then the next day we went clay shooting and there was tons of alder everywhere, so I got about another bucket's worth. And I boiled that batch 3 times over. You'll see me in a minute top up the mixture with fresh water. Obviously this weakens it a bit. The higher the concentration, the richer your colour is going to be. But I'm confident this is concentrated enough for what I want to achieve with these. You need to make sure your skulls are completely covered with the liquid. I did a batch earlier in the winter and my bucket sprung a slow leak, so they all ended up with tide lines. The stag was the worst affected, so I'm trying to see if another dip will help minimise it. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good. If you're doing fabric, you don't necessarily need a mordant with alder, but doing a soya milk treatment will make it more receptive to the dye. I did some cotton bags, and if I mind, I'll try and remember to show you later in the video. But anyway, I'm going to leave these skulls in here for a week, and then later on I'll show you how they turned out. Yeah, so it's been more than a week, but the horse skull turned out so nice that I had to do the same to a pony skull I've got, and I just think they look great. The alder really gives them like a kind of Pleistocene type vibe, and I like that because I like paleontology and can't afford really nice Pleistocene fossils. But I can make them. They do look their best under natural daylight, and I'm hoping that later on in this video I get the chance to show you that. The weather's coming shite again, so I'm just waiting for it to clear up so I can go and photograph all my stock. I hope it clears up soon, because that's a pretty vital job that needs doing. So, wished! I don't know if you can hear Buck licking his balls, but I really hope you can. That threw me off track. So it's been raining for about 5 days straight now, and because of that I've not had a chance to photograph my stock, which is kind of annoying because it's getting quite close to the day that I want to open my shop, and it's a lot of work to list things, like to edit the photos, to, you know, sort out shipping and all that. It's a lot of work is what I'm trying to say. But I like to take my photos outdoors because it's free lighting and it just looks better. So I always aim for like quarries or natural rock or rivers and lochs and stuff, and that's what I prefer. It's kind of cool to have the water in the background. But with the rain, it's likely the river's going to be in spate. I hope not, but all I can do is go and look. So we're going to bundle all the stuff into the car, go and hopefully get a quick photo sesh. I'm being possessed by Sean Connery again. Aye. Fuck off, Sean. Yeah, we're going to go and take some photos today, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not doing a very good job of it, but that's what we're going to go and do. So, aye. So the spot I was heading for was well and truly in spate. Like, I couldn't even see the rocks I wanted to photograph on, and there was little orange kayakers bobbing about in there, with hard hats and GoPros. So, yeah, not the kind of conditions conducive to taking good photos of stock. So I changed my plan and went to the same bit where I collected the Alder, hoping it would be shallow enough to use some of the rocks there. As I said earlier, I like to take my photos outdoors because natural lighting is free lighting and it's hard to recreate that indoors, especially because my house is pretty dark. I'm drawn to rivers and the sea because having a wee bit of movement behind the object makes the photos turn out quite dramatic, and when it comes to my website I'm a wee bit obsessive and I like it to look good. I tend to shoot for days that are overcast but not raining so that I've got a nice even flat light, and today seemed like it was going to be one of those days. But the sun, she's a fickle bitch, especially here in Scotland, and she came out at various intervals just to ruin my day. Harsh sunlight is a bastard for taking photos of bottles and skulls, white skulls. But to be fair, she made the Alder skulls look awesome. The way the late afternoon sun kind of reflected on the water just made these photos turn out so cool. But yeah, everything else was a pain in the arse to photograph, and I spent most of the day waiting for the sun to piss off behind clouds. But I'm not complaining, despite not getting all my stock photographed, which is really not ideal. I got to spend most of the day watching dippers and doing nothing, which is something I haven't done for a long time. So yeah, I enjoyed my afternoon. I feel like I could be in your personal space. I'm just hudding the camera today and I feel like I might be a wee bit too close to it. But well, you can count my spots. Anyway, it's the day before I reopen and I'm finally getting round to doing my Lino prints. I've already done them, but I didn't like how they turned out and it's been grating on me, so let's go and remedy that. So these are the ones I already did. They're A5 and I don't know why I don't like them, but I don't. I think they'd look better on A6, like the greeting cards that I've made with the same print, so that's what we're going to do now. This was my first attempt at lino carving, and this was the first attempt at this design. Yeah, he's looking a tad unhealthy. He's a farmed salmon, the new design's a wild one. Though I don't really do much in the way of freshwater fishing, I'm really fascinated by freshwater ecosystems. And I don't know why, but I've developed a bit of an obsession for drawing fish that have kypes. I'm actually working on a big painting of a brown trout with one as well at the moment, but that's a video for another day. Technically speaking, I am a salmon/trout gilly. I have river gillied for clients, and I'd say I'm alright at it. But the first time I did it, I had no idea what I was doing. My head keeper was like, "Oh, just do it, you'll be fine." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It was for trout on the loch, and I just did not have a clue. The fella asked for a Kate McLaren, and I was like, "No man, my name's Charlie." Despite not knowing much about fishing until a few years ago, I have been obsessed with fish since I could toddle. I grew up near the rivers Amund and Tay, and every year I'd go and watch the salmon jump. It's pretty much a core memory for me. So when I got older and learned about the ecological damage of salmon farming, safe to say I wasn't super impressed. As green as the SNP claimed to be, they seem to be more than keen to poison our seas. I've been lucky to watch the salmon, and I hope the generations to come are just as lucky. I'm going to put some resources in the description of this video if you'd like to learn more about the plight of our salmon. As you can probably see, these prints are pretty rough and ready, but so am I, so I kinda like it. I think that's what I like about lino prints and handmade things in general though. I'm not much of a spiritual person, but I feel there's definitely a sort of energy in items that another human being has put time and effort into. Like for example, take spoons. On one hand, you've got some mass-produced Amazon basic spoon and you feel nothing. It's dead. It's an inanimate object to move coffee from the vessel to the cup. But take a hand-carved wooden spoon, and you can see where the person who has made it has been, how their hands moved when they were carving it, and instantly you're connected to another human that you've potentially never met. Or maybe you have. But that handmade item has more than just monetary value. And in a world that's becoming ever more artificial, anything that connects us to each other and what is real is good. I think that's why I like old furniture so much. A lot of old pieces were handmade by craftsmen who spent their lives doing it, and because of that they feel real. There's very little new furniture in my home. Most of it is just salvage pieces from relatives that are no longer with me, and I love it that way. I never met my great-grandmother, but I have her table, and every time I look at it I'm reminded of a story I was told about her. In her old age, she took a liking to chocolate, and she liked it too much, to the point where it was rotting her teeth. And I can't mind how it came about, but they got a hypnotist to hypnotise her to resent the taste of it, and it worked, much to her displeasure. So she sat down at her table with a box of chocolate and munched her way through it, grimacing while she went, until she liked the taste of chocolate again. And that's where Blant's women get their determination. Or at least our stubbornness. It's a new day. I've left these to dry overnight and now they're ready to package. For packaging prints, I make my own backing out of scrap cardboard and paper tape. It's something that often gets thrown away, so I don't see the point in buying new ones and just adding to landfill. For the bags, I use compostable sleeves, which are made in the UK and apparently vegan friendly, which is a good job because the rest of my shop sure as shit isn't. So I'm just going to sign and date all these prints and then get them packaged up, and that's pretty much the last job, besides a wee bit more photo editing and just final checks. But yeah, I haven't done the best job of filming this video. There are some jobs I didn't really film doing, and I probably didn't talk to the camera enough, but hey, I'm still learning how to do this YouTube pish. I am currently standing on my tiptoes because I couldn't get the camera to balance at the right height and I can't be arsed fighting the tripod today. But yeah, let's see how strong my calves are and see if I can stand for the duration of this segment. Maybe it'll encourage me to do it in one take. I'm not going to be able to do it in one take. This talking to the camera business is still really weird. But anyway, it's Sunday. It's the day I wanted to reopen. And yeah, I probably should have given myself more time because I haven't gotten everything photographed. But that being said, I do have 70 odd things listed and ready to go on the website, so I'm pretty sure 70 is enough to open a store with. I'll get the rest of the things photographed when it comes dry again, but yeah, we've got a storm going on this weekend and the rivers are all well and truly in spate, so I'll just add them as I go. But if you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I'm going to pop a wee discount code here, which will be valid for the next 7 days, and if you fancy anything, feel free to use it. My store is going to open tonight, Sunday, but you'll probably see this video on Monday because editing takes a bit of faff. I have a huge store update planned for like the last week of May, first week of June. I have bucket after bucket after bucket of dead thing outside, so there'll be a lot of skulls in that one. A few more lino prints that I'm working on, a few original canvases, and yeah, quite a few different handmade things because I've got lots of projects that I started during the winter and didn't finish, so I'll be finishing all of them and getting them ready for that update. So stay tuned for that one and I'll catch you in the next video. And I'm still on my tiptoes, but I'm getting the shaky leg. So yeah, bye.